we really have another frightening event happening with our president, Donald Trump. President Trump went home from Mar-a-Lago here in Florida to Washington last night. And on the motorcade route from Mar-a-Lago to the airport where Air Force One is, they found a suspicious device, and they had to reroute the entire presidential motorcade in a very strange way. They moved Air Force One to a different part of the airport and had all the lights off. There was almost an accident, pile up with the press van, with the press vehicles, because the motorcade was traveling fast and close, and there was a turn, and some of the motorcade had to slam on the brakes, and the press vans almost collided. So this suspicious device they found on the route, we don't know. This is the second time in the last few months that there's been something found on the route from Mar-a-Lago to the airport. Remember last time, a couple months back, they found the sniper's nest. Now a suspicious device. This is all new, okay? In Trump's first term, none of this crap was happening. For them to reroute at a high speed and move Air Force One to a different part of the airport and have the lights off on Air Force One, lights off on Air Force One is something they do when they're landing in Iraq, not here in Florida. So this was a very, very serious incident. What the device was, they haven't said, but it was found on the sweep by the Secret Service before the president left. So I'm curious about a couple things. How long they do sweeps a lot? So how long before the president departed Mar-a-Lago to the airport did they find the device? And the thing with the route from Mar-a-Lago to the airport, it's a straight drive on one road. It's in Palm Beach. It's called Southern Boulevard, and it's a direct, very short drive. I've made the drive many times from Mar-a-Lago to the airport. You don't make any turns. You pull out of Mar-a-Lago and boom, you go straight there. You don't change. Boom, you're there at the airport. The route that they took was through the city, zigzagging around at a high speed, which is what they don't like to do because it creates more confusion, and it's harder to do the sweeps. Something's going on here, and I think, and you can let me know in the chat if you agree. Was this another assassination attempt on the president? Was this another assassination attempt? And I've never seen them reroute the motorcade like this, ever. And that sniper's nest they found a couple months back has totally disappeared. There's been no updates. Remember, they took the sniper's nest, sent it to Quantico, and we didn't hear anything on the report. So that tells me it's a serious investigation. I know some people try to excuse it away, that iguana hunters. You don't hunt iguanas there. You can't have a weapon that close to the airport, especially the one the president flies in and out. That's BS. And if that's what it was, they would have released the results from Quantico and did that, but they didn't. AOC 2028 for what? President of the Idiot Society? I don't know what she would be doing in 2028. But for them to not just change the president's motorcade route, but to move Air Force One. I've never seen them move Air Force One to another part of the airport and then have the lights off. That's even more frightening. My name's Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe. I'm thinking about it. It's just the more I think about it, the more frightening it is. Gavin Newsom for 2028 for what? The president of the insane asylum? It is, this is how the liberals are. They just can't leave this man alone. President Trump is changing the whole world for the better, and the left can't stand it. That's it. You know, that's it. Now, in the next stream, I will be in the studio taking live calls, so don't miss that. I'm waiting for Starbucks to open. Get my coffee, and then back here to the studio and start the show. I wish Starbucks opened earlier, but they don't. Hey, you know, the president's making a lot of big moves, and, you know, he's talking about taking strikes against Iran. You know, Iran's killed almost 600 protesters that we know of. And he's talking about taking military action. And then all of a sudden they found a suspicious device on his motorcade route. They didn't give us any details, but it's other than what I have. You know, they're never going to leave Trump alone for the rest of his life. I mean, he is the most significant, game-changing president of any of our lifetimes. He really is. He's taken the country back from these lunatics. That's it. But the suspicious device, give me a yes or no in the chat. Do you believe this is another assassination attempt? I give it a yes. Was this another assassination attempt? I say yes, for sure yes. No question in my mind. Very unusual, very strange. Now, and when they say suspicious device, that's so vague. They do these sweeps constantly. Yeah. I wish we had some more information so we could at least know who's behind it. Is it Iran? Is it domestic? We don't know. Yeah. No, it is very upsetting. Very upsetting. It's hard to say who. You know, Iran's at the top of the list because of everything that's going on. Iran's on the verge of collapse. And they've been after Trump for years, since he took out Soleimani. So, these are really scary times we're in. Very scary times. No, we have plenty of info. It was a very unusual thing. A suspicious device found along the route of President Trump's motorcade from Mar-a-Lago to the airport. They moved, you gotta understand, the road from Mar-a-Lago to the airport, it's one road, straight shot, very 5-minute drive. So they zigzagged through the city, which is dangerous, at a high speed. They were driving at a very high speed. It's being reported in the local news. That's why they almost had a collision with the press vans. They moved Air Force One to another part of the airport and had the lights off on Air Force One. So that is so unusual. To have the lights off on Air Force One means they were afraid that Air Force One was a target. But this is the second time there's been an incident here at Mar-a-Lago that we know of. There's just been more attempts on this president than any other one. It's because he's doing so much good, right? He's just turning the world upside down, and they can't handle it. He's resetting the entire world into its proper balance. It could be Cubans, it could be Iranians, it could be Russians, it could be Ukrainians, who knows? We don't have any more information than that. It just pisses me off. You know? It really does. I mean, think about what if you're, for Americans, what is Donald Trump doing that any American should be upset with? Well, we had a Ukrainian connection with the Butler shooter and the golf course shooter. There were Ukrainian connections with both of them, especially the golf course shooter, who had been to Ukraine. The golf course shooter, who's in prison for that attempt, not only had he been to Ukraine, he was working for Ukraine to recruit U.S. veterans to fight as mercenaries for Ukraine. So there's strong Ukrainian connections with him. Very strong ones. You know, this is really upsetting. For them to have the lights off on Air Force One and move it to another part of the airport, that just takes it to another level in my mind. Make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel, guys. This is where MAGA comes to talk. My name's Brian. On the next stream, I'll be in the studio taking calls on this and much more. Making America great again is controversial to the left. Oh no, it doesn't get more America first than what President Trump's doing. He's as America first as you can get. You can't be more America first than President Trump is. It's impossible. Yeah, he is doing great work. No, this is, you know, and you know, the golf course assassin, that was near the airport too. The golf course is right down the street from the airport. It's very close to the airport. So these attempts here in Florida have all been in the same mile or two of each other. Of course, the sniper's nest, and now this. We don't know exactly as of yet where the suspicious device was located. The sniper's nest had a direct line of sight to where Air Force One parks. This device, we don't know. But I thought it was so interesting that they moved Air Force One and had the lights off. That really elevates it. I don't remember them saying that with the sniper's nest story, do you? Nope. You know, the liberals have just taken this to a whole new sick and very twisted level. You know? They just can't leave Trump alone. You know, he's doing everything he said he would do when he was running. So what everything he's doing is popular with the American people. But, you know, liberals, even though they're few in numbers these days, they still think they've got the majority on their side. They're out of their minds. Well, you know, the Secret Service is on the job on this one. I'm glad they found it. I'm hoping we get more information later today as to what the device was. Oh, well, I need my coffee. I never remember them changing the route like this and moving Air Force One. I've never heard of that happening before. And I've been following the president coming here and for almost 10 years now in both terms, right? I never have seen anything even close to what we're dealing with now. Not even close. Drug baron. What's a drug baron? That's right, Patrick. 100% MAGA. MAGA for life. Maine, good morning. Welcome, Maine. Let me know in the chat where you're located, like what city, state, or country. I'm curious. Obviously, I'm in Florida, where it's 68 degrees. Chicago. Welcome, Chicago. Montana. Oklahoma, Netherlands, Maine, Canada. Bakersfield, California. Welcome, Bakersfield. Welcome, welcome. The UK, New Jersey. Portland, Maine. Athens, Georgia. Oklahoma, Detroit, Tennessee. Davie, Florida. Greenland, Detroit, Michigan. Indiana. New South Wales, Australia. Kansas, Seattle. Los Angeles, Denmark. That's right. Maine. A lot of people in Maine. Cold in Tampa. Well, even though it's 68 degrees, I have the heat on in the car here. New Jersey. 51st state. Hawaii was the 50th, so who's the 51st? Is it Venezuela? Is it Canada? What's the 51st state? Canada? Venezuela? Cuba? 31 in Oklahoma. Holy smokes. Greenland. Yes. When Greenland becomes a part of the United States, I look forward to traveling there. Oh, Greenland's the 51st state. Okay. I forgot. Roanoke, Virginia. Can Australia be part of the U.S.? It's kind of far. Kind of far. I forgot about it. Yeah. You know, how many attempts total do we know about on Trump? I would say 2, 4. I can think of 6 off the top of my head. 6 attempts on Trump, just off the top of my head. No, there was an attempt at a campaign stop in the first campaign, right? Butler, the golf course, this one, the sniper's nest. That's 5. But then there was a 6th one on a New Year's Day in the first term when I went to the airport. This one wasn't publicized, and the president and Air Force One were gone, and nobody knew it. And that was not long after Soleimani. So I thought that was Soleimani. So I know of 6, 5 or 6. And that's without even, you know, thinking about it. I include the campaign stop one in the first campaign. Suspicious device, Air Force One with the lights off. That's an attempt. Yeah, Venezuela be the 52nd state. Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, guys. Okay. Oh man. Well, we'll take calls on this and everything else. We got a lot to talk about today. But this stuff's got to stop. Just got to stop. Oh, President Trump, he has a lot of people praying for him. A lot. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to go to Starbucks. I will see you in a bit in the studio, taking your